Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of my CME project. My name is Carter Gagno. I am a senior in the music education program here at Nazareth University, and this project is on how imperative and essential music education is in the K through 12 education years. Okay, getting really good at saying that intro. So this episode is going to primarily focus on elementary school. I'm going to go through all the questions that I had my populations answer. I'm going to give my answers to the questions as for my background because I believe that my opinion is important. This project is coming from me. I believe it's important for you to know my standing and my opinion. And then I'm going to go through some of the other responses and talk about what I'm pulling from them, the kind of the ideas and that I'm getting from them. And I'm going to try not to make conclusions. I'm going to try to keep my opinions on people's responses very minimal in this episode. I'm going to try to be very factual and just kind of go through and talk about different important things and what I'm kind of getting from these answers, right? So the question that we are going to focus on is as follows. I wrote, please take a moment and reflect on your elementary school years. For some, this could be more of a distant memory. Please consider the following prompts. So for all of these next 3 episodes, what I did is I gave some things to think about because obviously me saying, hey, what do you remember? That's not going to be very effective. So I kind of gave some things. So I'm going to go through every one of those personally, hopefully not take too much time because I'd like to talk more about the data. What is your very first memory you thought of when thinking about your elementary school music experiences? For me personally, there was this Beatles concert that we were putting on. I think maybe second or third grade, doing Yellow Submarine. What? Oh gosh, I'm blanking on some of the things we did, but I remember putting this concert together and having a lot of fun because we weren't singing random music. I know the Beatles. My parents listened to the Beatles, right? So I remember my music teacher, she wanted the kids to intro the concert and intro the songs, right? So I remember being so nervous. She had us all get up in front of our whole class and talk and give the speech for the opening of the concert. And I was nervous. I was really nervous because I kind of wanted it. And I remember the first line of it was, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I don't know what happened. I knew that the Beatles were from England. They weren't from America, right? So I got up in front of the whole class of music and I said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I tried to do some British accent and the whole room erupted in laughter. I mean, I was like thinking in my head, how can I make my friends laugh? And that's what I did. And she gave me the part, and I ended up doing that in front of all the parents when the concert happened, probably a month later. And I remember feeling so much pride. But what then I reflected on when I was doing this whole process for the form is my first memory of elementary music isn't even about music. The first memory I have of elementary music has nothing to do with singing, has nothing to do with reading music or playing instruments, but it has to do with fun and enjoyment and passion and comedy. So that's really interesting. I think that it's very interesting that that's my first memory. And I have some other memories of playing recorder, playing guitar, things like that. But that was my first memory. And did you participate in choir? For me, that's my second question. Did you participate in choir? And for me, every kid had to participate in choir. It was just required. We rehearsed music during our music classes, and there was a concert, and every kid was expected to be there. If it was something you enjoyed, I'm a music student now. I'm sure I loved it. And actually, I remember disliking recorder. I really did not like playing the recorder, but I'm pretty good at it now. Tell me of any other significant memories that you want to share. I can share about a dozen, but that's not why I'm here. So those were kind of the things that I'm looking for. Very first memory, and I mean like first. I think I put above. I said, please be. These can be positive or negative memories. Please be honest, right? So if your very first memory is something negative, I wanted to know. I wanted to know if if music was something that stuck in everyone's head as a positive thing. Um, so just going through a couple of these here. Um, I think I'll start with this one. So this person, I had everyone stay anonymous. So this person said, my very first memory of music was in elementary school as I was in kindergarten. High school needed little kids to be munchkins in The Wizard of Oz, and that was when I first fell in love with performance and music. And again, we're talking about the first memory of music. It wasn't even about them, right? Like that first core memory that they have when they thought of them in elementary school is at kindergarten, and all they were was a little munchkin in a high school musical. So realistically, they were a living prop, right? I mean, that's what it is they were there to run around, make noises. Maybe they had a couple kids say a thing or two, but sorry, my chair is probably very loud. With that first memory, what I'm reading, when I read that sentence, those two sentences, all I read is joy and happiness, right? Like, can you imagine the feeling of being 4, 5, 6 years old, and you go to hang out with the high schoolers, you put on some costumes, and you run around and being a little munchkin. Like, that's fun. That's fun. FUN is the 3-letter word that I'm gonna keep coming back to. They did participate in choir, and they said, I love music throughout elementary school, especially choir. It was fun learning new pieces and music and singing with other people. 4th grade was when I really became passionate for music and theater. I got the lead in the school musical and was chosen for a soloist. So this person clearly values performance, right? This person clearly has a large background with music performance and really enjoyed kind of the spotlight per se, which is amazing, right? But not everybody went through that. So segueing after that, another response that I have is that it says, I went to Catholic school. This is a different person. I went to Catholic school, so it was a lot of religious music. We did not have choir. We would sing at funerals sometimes in Latin. I have to say that music was more of a subject. It was the 60s. Music was a must. Okay, so that's a much shorter response than the previous, but I feel like I'm getting a lot out of that too. Now here's where the question of interpretation comes in, right? So a large part of this is how do I interpret this information, which I'm gonna try not to talk about too much right now. But this person seems to be answering the question as of, I went to Catholic school. I was kind of forced to do this. We sang in Latin. This is what it was, and that's a great experience, right? But it's totally different from the last answer. Totally different. I have a couple other that I think are valuable to share. Some of these responses, I have a couple just very short responses. A couple that are a little bit hard for me to interpret out loud just because of the language that was used in them. Very like bullet point language, right? Just answering my questions. But all right, this is one that I wanted to talk about. There's one that just says enjoyed music, love it, great. Okay, so the next one the next response. Again, I kept this a lot of this anonymous, but here is another response that I wanted to talk about. I remembered throughout elementary school, my music teacher had us begin every class going around the room singing each student's name in a different way. They did not participate in choir. They don't remember not enjoying music class. What a sentence. I love it. I don't remember not enjoying music class. And I loved playing the recorder in 3rd grade, which is funny because I hated it. So I think this is a really, really another answer that gives me a lot of insight into somebody else's experience is that their first memory is singing everybody's name differently, right? Now on the surface, it's just a memory, right? Just like every one of these things that I go over on the surface, it's just a memory, right? Well, what I get from this as someone who's musically trained and someone who's trying to think general public, not just music people, is that this person was impacted by being set apart from their other students, right? Now again, I'm going to try not to go too much into opinions and thoughts until my conclusion. But I do think it's important to know, just as interpreting this information, that there is information being that their first memory was going around the class and singing everyone's name in a different way, whether it be rhythm, notes, other things like that. That stuck. It sticks for a reason. It doesn't just stick because it's a memory. Maybe it stuck more because they did it every day, but they didn't tell us that they did that every day. Oh no, they did. I remember every class would begin that way. So it did begin that way every time. So that could be a reason why that's the first memory. But the other thing that I think is good to know is that there was variety, right? You never knew how they were going to sing your name. They never knew my name with my name. You never knew if it was Carter or Carter or Carter. You never know. So it was always a little bit of excitement, a little bit of unknown, right? Ooh, what's going to happen? Oh, we did that one funny. Here it comes for me. You don't know, right? So again, I think another positive experience. Now, this next one, I won't read through the whole thing because this one's quite long, but they talked a lot about recorder and not being in choir, but I really enjoyed music. I was lucky to have many opportunities to make music starting at a young age. In my 4th grade year, there was a student in 3rd grade that got brought up into our band. 4th grade was the first year of band. They played the concert, super cool to me since I had never met them before. Looking back on it, something that I appreciate from my music education was the fact that musicians from different ages were always working together. Mentorship from more experienced while also making music and group identity over the years. I mean, I feel like I could wrap my CME up in that one paragraph. Obviously, I'm not doing that. But, I mean, that is 100% what a lot of my education philosophy is that we're coming together and we're making something. We're telling a story. When it comes to my philosophy of music education, a lot of what my biggest point is that we are not here to learn what ink blots on a page do. We're not just playing ink on a page. We're telling a story. We're playing music, we're singing music, but we're telling a story, or we're trying to evict emotion from people. We're trying to pull on people's heartstrings or get chills down their spine. Right? That's what we're doing. So for this person, all the way back in 4th grade, do they have a memory of community? Right? I mean, that's, again, for it being the first memory, it's something that just, it's so powerful to hear. Singing in drama club was forced. Right. So they did enjoy music, but this is funny. So this person said that they sang in the drama club. Yes, they were in choir and they enjoyed it. A memory that they felt like sharing was that they were forced to partake. Now, this is not clear whether it was by a parent or maybe they felt pressured by an educator or a sibling. I don't have enough context to draw a conclusion from that. But what they said after was that they were thankful for it in the end and chose it ever since. Now, I don't ever want to make students feel like they're forced to be in my classroom because that is never productive. But what I can kind of draw from that is that while they might not have known how they felt about it then at that point, now they realize its value, right? Okay, So there are other answers on here. Played violin, playing with boom whackers. Everyone loves boom whackers, right? Um, I'm trying to find. Here we go. It seems we sang a lot. I don't recall if it was a part of choir or if all the kids were just required to sing. I don't recall any uses of instruments. Um, Playing on the ground with lots of different small instruments. I loved having different instruments, especially every time. Catholic school music was introduced in a church setting. It was not part of school curriculum. Another person, I don't remember much of elementary school because I truly wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in choir at all. And that's totally great. I'm actually almost a little happy that I don't have just positive answers. Um, because I know from my own experience that not every person experiences music the same way. Um, okay, so that's the majority of the answers I wanted to go over for this episode of elementary school. Just to kind of wrap up, I would say that most of these answers are related to music, but they actually have deeper meanings of more than just learning music, right? That these a lot of what was important in those memories that stuck in people's head from elementary school was actually about things that had nothing to do with music. It had to do with community, or it had to do with personality, or being individual, or for some people, not being interested, or that it was forced because it was a Catholic school, things like that. But the core of it is that these memories had nothing to do really with music, with, you know, the ink on the pages or playing, or more of how it made a person feel, or how what emotions it brought out for them. So the next episode I'm going to go over middle school, and then high school, and then in the concluding episode I will come back to this as well as the others and try to draw some conclusions and give everybody my final concluding thoughts of what I believe I found. But that's the majority of the information from that section of my survey. Thank you.